All right, here we are with another episode of The High Ground, powered by Premier Companies. Good morning, Sal.
Good morning. How we doing today?
I'm doing okay. We got Aaron Bledsoe in studio to follow up with the acreage report from the USDA. So, Aaron, before we get started, it's time for the question of the day, which you were on recently. Yeah, you've only been on like twice in the last 2 or 3 weeks. So
of
you get another one.
Ryan, of everything we've done, the question of the day has gotten the most editing of anything else.
Right, and Aaron, to his defense, didn't get any warning on this.
No,
one.
you didn't.
So we're throwing you a softball this morning, Aaron.
Thanks.
You don't even necessarily have to give us the why. Your question of the day is this morning, just because you have such a meaty report here, and so we won't spend a lot of time on the question of the day.
Talking about the report or me physically?
Well, the report. The report. But back to that, what did you have for breakfast this morning?
Half a cup of coffee and some kind of healthy bar. It was like some kind of Fig Newton type thing. I don't know. It's supposed to be good for you.
You on a diet?
No. But it makes me feel good
There you go.
that I ate something decent for myself in the morning.
Sure.
This is probably more healthy than the Fig Newtons that I actually packed in my lunch today.
I remember those Fig Newtons at my great-grandma's house.
Those are awesome.
Oh, my gosh.
You guys liked them?
Oh, yeah.
Okay.
Oh, yeah.
Very good.
Yep.
Very good. Sal, what'd you have?
Well, every morning, most mornings, but almost every morning, my wife gets up and makes me a breakfast sandwich, an egg sandwich on toast with a piece of Colby Jack cheese. And so she gets up 5 o'clock and makes breakfast for the road. I know, she's a saint.
I would think so.
Wow.
Yeah.
Yep.
I would think so.
I know I married up, but wow.
Yeah, she's a keeper. Going on 20 years, so.
20 years. Well, that's good. That's good. Well, I'm a little jealous of that. So I don't know, a month or so ago, 2 months ago, I started on this healthier plan to lose weight and get in shape. So I actually start every day with just a protein shake and 32 ounces of water.
Well,
32 ounces of water, a little tough to get down in the morning.
yeah.
I was going to say, that's more than I drink.
Does your
today.
shake count as the water?
Nope. I don't
So it's a
count it.
shake and water.
Mm-hmm. And then coffee. I chase a lot of coffee. So it's pretty simple, pretty quick, and pretty fast. But I'd like to have a breakfast sandwich.
They're
Throw
good.
it out there. Yeah, I'm guessing they are. That'll be enough. Hey, Aaron, last Friday, so we're just coming off the 4th of July holiday, but last Friday, June 30th, there was a USDA report come out that concerning acreage, what was planted, what was not. We had some surprises. So why don't you dig into that? Let's get into it.
Yeah, so going into this, I don't think the market was trading as if we were going to see a reduction in corn acres. So you got to remember, going into June 30th, everything had been trading off of 92 million acres of corn and 87.5 million acres of beans. And going into it, a lot of the trade experts and all the people providing all the top dollar type marketing advice and everything with the options and all that stuff, they're all suggesting somewhere in that 91 million acres of corn, and they're actually thinking that beans could increase to like 88 or so million acres, and this report did not do that. I mean, it caught the entire trade off balance on this one. It said that we're going to have 94 million acres of corn and 83.5 million acres of beans. So right out of the get-go, instead of decreasing corn, they increased it by 2 million acres, and they decreased beans by 4 million acres. So I think a lot of eyes were on the corn number to see if we could start penciling in maybe a little bit higher of a number for price-wise, a lower acre number, and it was all weather market now. Well, since the report, that dynamic's kind of changed a little bit.
Sure.
And it's really changed for beans. I mean, that was a huge game changer on beans.
So what do we attribute that to? I mean, have you heard any of that? I mean, where'd the shock come from for that kind of?
That's the most wrong, I guess, or isn't that the biggest change we have had in recent memory?
Yeah, in recent memory, it's got to be close. I know that that's the third highest corn number that we've had in history. So that, I mean, right there, you're talking. I mean, you're in an elite club when you're up into third in history of planted acres for corn. I think a lot of it was attributed to how fast we got going this year. I mean, spring was just phenomenal. I know everyone, the pockets always have issues. I mean, just the drive over here from Washington, Indiana to Seymour, you could see how the western part of our territory was much further along than the area right around our Brownstown mill. I mean, that corn, but that ground sits lower. So if they had some rain this spring, they had to wait to get in there. That corn is significantly smaller and a completely different stage of growth than what we've got over in Washington, where a lot of it's tasseling now.
Sure.
Yeah.
And some of the stuff I saw on the way over here, it really went back to knee high by 4th of July. But the nation as a whole had a very good spring to get stuff in the ground. And I know like you talk about Minnesota, North Dakota and everything. What was it? I mean, going into April, they had several feet of snow, and people were like, "Oh man, we're going to have a lot of prevent plant acres. It's not going to get planted." It did. I mean,
within a week, it seemed like it changed. I know that's not true, but it seemed like it.
Yeah. Oh yeah. I mean, it was.
I bet it was 10 days. I mean, I bet it was 2 weeks. It was
Probably 2. But
Yeah. So I think I attribute that a lot to where we got to 94 million acres. And then you also had the factor of corn inputs, price-wise, dropped as the spring went along. And it goes back to high prices, fixed high prices. I mean, if we had maintained in the $6 range for December futures here lately, this would have been the third year in a row where we would have been looking at that. At some point, you break that cycle. And this, if weather cooperates, this could be the one where we break that.
interesting.
Well, of course, now we're looking at the crop quality, but still being up 2 million over
Yep.
what they projected. You wonder how that'll fit in.
Yeah, so, originally they were going off of the 92 million acres, and that would have been, they were shooting around that 84.1 harvested acres. So if you take that 181.5 national yield and you put that into total production, there are 15.26 billion bushels. Just bumping it up to 94 million acres with a harvested acres of 86.3 with that same yield, you're looking at another 400 million bushels of production. And that's if ending stocks don't increase from the old crop that we're carrying in. That's if we can maintain demand and all that goes into it. We're still talking about another 400 million potential bushels hitting the market this fall.
Jeez.
So if you go out there and you start looking around, because you brought up a good point. Now it's about quality at this point. I mean, or quantity of the bushels that we get per acre, quality type question. Because we are in a weather market, or we have been. What yield are people really throwing out there? And you see the 175 to 177. If we produce a 177 crop, we still end up exactly where we started at earlier in the year, trading off of 92 million acres. So
177 would do that.
177 would do that. That erases the 400 million bushels of additional bushels, and it brings us right back to that 15.26. So the beans, that was the huge story. Corn took it in the shorts. I mean, it just got obliterated after that report. And you saw what a weather market did. Last time I was on here, we were talking about how fast it was screaming up. Literally 2 days later, the market heard that we were supposed to get rain in the next 10 to 15 days. It tanked. I mean, corn and beans both just dropped. And corn, we were losing almost $1 from the last time we had talked. Then this report came out, and it just keeps trimming itself, getting into position to where the trade has it penciled in, and we see how the rest of the year finishes out. Beans, because of this report, started to rally and rally hard. I mean, we're talking days where they can run up 70 cents, and we're seeing that in a trading period. So
how do y'all guess this? I mean, I guess guess is the wrong word, but I mean, all the best advice that you pay for was wrong.
yeah. I'm sure there's somebody out there that says, "Oh, I told you so." Like,
There's always somebody out there.
oh yeah, there's always somebody. But like, well, yeah, but did you actually say it out loud, or did
Yeah.
you just have it in your head? But yeah, I mean, this is one of those things where I've always preached, just have a plan. Have a plan that works for your operation, because no matter how much you think you can outguess this market, it will beat you. It's like the game of golf. You never actually win at golf. The course always wins. It always beats you. You're never going to go out there and actually beat the golf course. You can beat your competitors, but you're not actually going to win the game of golf. The course is always going to win. And that's how this market is. You just try to come up with a plan that works for you and make the best of the situation that you're in. A black number always keeps you going. Red number, that's never good. So if you're out there and you're hitting singles and doubles and the occasional triples, 2 years ago, a lot of people could hit grand slams. I mean, low input prices, and the corn market went nuts. Though that was the year that you could actually swing out there and you could hit some grand slams out there and get some cash to go through potentially what we're looking at for this corn crop on this one. But the beans, to get back to the report, I think we got off to such a good pace, and corn inputs were going down, like we talked. Urea was going down. A lot of the nitrogen market was starting to soften quite a bit this spring. I think it went to, you saw a lot of people plant a few more acres of corn than what we initially thought, and it just took away some from the bean market. Corn is still king. Even whenever beans have a higher planted acre number than corn's still king. People like planting corn. There's something about it. We just do. And the bean market has been so chaotic a little bit because it's more of an export market. Whereas corn, we use so much of it nationwide, it feels good to produce corn. It feels safer somewhat than beans, especially after the last couple of years, with the trade embargoes and all that craziness. But we saw the bean acre come down, and when you lose 4 million acres, we're talking about a 200 million bushel loss in production. And that's big, because when you look at what the June monthly USDA report, it was saying we were around an 8% ending stocks to use rate. And that was like 350 million bushels of what we're going to end with for this coming crop. We just took 200 million away because we didn't plant as much. And that's with a 52 million that's with a 52 bushel
average.
acre average. So if you simple math for my fuzzy little peach brain, you just went from 350 down to
150.
150.
Yeah.
I mean, that is tight.
In a good scenario.
That in a good scenario.
Right.
And that's tight. Now, I say that with simple simple economics should take over, and that high prices fix high prices. So, or low prices will fix low prices. At some point, you'll start to ration the demand because these beans will get so expensive. What do? You'll start buying from somebody else. Well, if Brazil has a big crop, we might start importing more beans because we can't feed the beast that we've created. Crush margins have been good. You've seen crush demand go. I think a lot of people are saying that USDA needs to actually bump up the crush demand a little bit because we're hitting our goals. But time will tell on that one. But this bean number is something to watch. I mean, we're getting in some really, really, really potentially tight ending stocks. I mean, this is stuff that I've not seen.
Well, we're tight right now.
Yeah,
with the number you got, it could be even worse.
Yeah.
So where are we at today with pricing?
Let me get it pulled up real quick.
We'll get the Premier Ag satellite flying
I
overhead.
can hear them linking up.
Yeah, linking up. No. D's corn right now, since we're still on a holiday, I mean, it's getting ready to start back up here in a couple minutes. 494, 493 and a half really. November beans trading at 13.53 3/4. So cash delivered fall stuff would be you're back up above $13. Corn, you're back now into the upper fours. Whereas we were getting $6 about a week and a half ago for fall delivered corn. And beans, honestly, we're probably back to where we were the last time we were talking. It's just that beans were they're on such a wild ride. I mean, and that was the thing. The guys that had a structured plan took advantage of that week and a half of dry weather in June. They took advantage of it. Their targets hit. They got some great bushels sold, and then all of a sudden, both of them fell. Well, now we're seeing an opportunity to get some more beans priced, and corn. We'll just have to watch this thing. I mean, there's a lot more carry in the market than there was, back in. It's probably been 3 months. We saw that May get up to around anywhere between 15, 17 cents. So what that's saying is that the May was paying you 17 cents more just to wait to price it against the May or deliver it against that month. Now, and then that went all the way down to, I think you got below 10 cents there in that weather market. Now we're back up to like 19, 20 cents. So that's why I say plans, because this is an emotionally draining thing. I mean, I felt great about sending out a text and a notification saying that we're up in the upper fives. That the last time we talked.
Right, we were talking about that.
Yeah,
sure.
And literally 3 days later, I felt like an idiot.
Yeah,
I was like, it's gone. I don't know where it went, but it's gone.
It was there.
Yeah, it was there, and that's all it was. It was just weather. The market thought that we were going to get some rain, and we did. Thankfully, we did, because in Southwest Indiana, we could use some rain. We got plenty of it now to get us through quite a while. It feels like. I mean, I'm not an agronomist, but it felt good. That was $1 million rain, is what we got.
Or more. Yeah, the weather, which brings us to southern Indiana, we are about as good as the Corn Belt can be as far as the weather. I've got a StoneX, a U.S. drought monitor, and it's not as good in black and white. The pretty map doesn't. The weather map isn't nearly as good when you print it in black and white.
Sorry,
but according to the shades of gray that we're looking at,
it was representing rain. I was trying to show you.
That's right.
I was trying to show you rain.
In this case, gray means rain, and so it looks like there's going to be some relief across the country. But I mean, out west, they were just burnt up, and maybe crop loss at that stage. So we'll have to see.
Yep.
The weather can change everything.
Yep. And the big question now will be next Wednesday. So today is July. I'm still stuck on June. Today is July 5th. Next Wednesday, so what is that, July 12th? That will be the July yield estimate. And that will be where we start, now that we've got our 94 and our 83.5, now we're going to look at this yield number next Wednesday.
So that's probably support for corn for the people who didn't get rain, or the term that we hear so much of anymore, the derecho. I mean, that thing was pretty devastating in some spots. I mean, even where I live, when that first storm hit Thursday, they were talking like 90-mile-an-hour straight line winds. Jeez. But there was, we didn't have a lot of corn now, but several do. I think Illinois had gotten hammered, and I don't know how many other points, but there might be some support there depending on who got what rain and then damage from that. We certainly don't want to act like they're capitalizing on their demise, but I mean, there's a lot of that out there.
Oh yeah. I mean, the story's not wrote yet completely for corn. I mean, we've still got weather issues, like you said, the derecho, Illinois. Illinois and Iowa anytime. I mean, Indiana produces a lot of corn, but when you start talking about Iowa and Illinois, when they are in more of a severe drought than we are, and they get straight line winds, anytime you affect one of the three I's, or in this case, two of them potentially, there's always going to be some support in this market, because you just don't know. Now, once the combines start rolling, and if we have a good crop, then we'll start to see some really heavy hits on this market. But until then, I think there's still some support, because the argument's still going to be this corn yield needs to come down. But when you bump it up, 2 million acres, we've got some fluff. I mean, we could lose four bushels of the acre, and we're still in the same spot as before. So, and that was, in June we were expecting 15.6% ending stocks to use rate. Last year we were 10.6, so we were already expecting more corn in the market. Yeah. Than what we were. So when you start putting it in that perspective, that's why you start seeing the market kind of get out of the corn bull run and more into a bearish tone. But Jury's out. We'll see. Next Wednesday will be the big one because that'll be, now that we've got the acres, we're just looking for the yield. And then the rest of it is we're just waiting until we get to harvest.
It's hard to believe that with the weather that we have had across the country, dry or the winds or the hail or whatever else we've had, it's just hard to believe that we'll hit the 180. But I guess we could all be surprised. But speaking of, so what, Aaron? What should we do now? What should we do in the short term? What should be our plan? Since we know the opportunity that we didn't get, but we've got one on beans coming. Looks like.
Yep.
So what should be our plan now?
So right now, I would really start looking at where you are on your potential bushels sold for corn. I always talk about targets, and it's just 2 weeks ago that was a proven fact as to why targets work so well. It's because you never know when you're going to get that week of just something amazing happen to the market, and you grab a hold of it and you get it. So I'm still saying on corn, I would, especially for us around here, with the rain that we got, I know a lot of guys are starting to back off a little bit because they wanted to see what they were if we're gonna get the rain or not. Because if we didn't get it, it was looking rough. So now that we've got some rain, we need to start thinking about, okay, well, maybe because we didn't have rain, maybe I've only got 25% of a potential bad crop priced. We need to start talking about getting that number bumped up. Beans, if you feel like you're in a decent spot with the way this story looks, I'd set some high targets because you never know. We've still got time. I mean, we're just now into July. We've still got the rest of July, August to go through. I don't think the market has really started to trade too much weather on the bean market yet, because beans always...
That's August, right?
Yeah. I mean, beans and corn have a different growth cycle. So I think there's some opportunity on the bean front. Corn, I would probably be, if you see a good opportunity that makes you money, I'd probably start locking some in a little bit more aggressively than what we were before. And I talked about the average, running that and the average contracts. Beans, it doesn't look great right now compared to what you can get right this second, just because May and June we started out, at the time it was a good thing to do, and I still like the program. It gets something on the books. But when you have a market go like this, it makes you look silly for doing it. But you didn't do it because you knew this was coming. You did it because this was a good way to take some of the emotion out and price it over an 8-week period. Corn, on the other hand, we look good now.
Yeah.
Corn looks like that was a positive move. And I don't want people to think that these average contracts, I'm supposed to win with them. They're not. They're a structured way to get something locked in to take that mental part out of it. Because a lot of guys would have seen that market run 2 weeks ago and they would say, oh, we're going to $7. We're waiting. And then what happened? We lost $1.10.
Yeah.
And next thing you know, you could have priced $5.75. Now we're pricing $4.75. So that's why I say targets and just have a structured plan. Put your flag in the ground. Have yourself a time limit of, every 2 weeks, relook at this thing, and then do something else.
Aaron, I mean, you say you talk about targets all the time, but I think that's okay, because sometimes we don't. How many of all of us we got things on our to-do list, right, that we don't get done because there's not enough time, or it slips our minds, and those targets are a simple, effective way to let your grain location work for you.
Mm-hmm.
Yep. I don't have anything else. I don't know. You have anything else on your list?
I don't know. No, I think like I said, it was just. It was a very shocking report to see those biggest swings. I mean, and we saw those biggest swings. It's been, I think it was in 21, but it was in favor. I mean, we were talking a 94 million acre crop, and then they dropped it to 92, so that was huge. This year, it's the complete opposite. We were talking 92, and they bumped it up to 94. So
I guess we'll be waiting on that next week's condition report.
In the meantime, set your targets and know your cost of production, right, Aaron?
Oh, yeah.
Always.
Yep. And always, whoever you trust with this market, Call them, talk to them, pick their brains. Just try to have just. You have so many other jobs on the farm. Find someone you trust and have them help you. And that's what's great about us. It does me no good to try to cheap you with some really cheap bushels. We're a co-op. I mean, if I succeed, that's the ultimate goal, is to help the grower succeed at what they're trying to do, and then I try to succeed on my end. It's a win-win for both of us. It's not, we're not out here trying to buy cheap bushels. It's actually beneficial for me if I can get you the price that you want at a basis I like. That's a great day. So we're here to help. We're free. Jason and I are both. I mean, we try to keep our ears to the ground, and we lean on people that we trust too.
Good deal.
Good idea. All right. That's all I've got.
That's all I got, Ryan.
All right. Thanks, Aaron. Another episode of The High Ground, powered by Premier Companies. Please remember to like and subscribe.